Hello everyone, welcome back to another weekend 48-hour readathon, and this time we are back to good old TBR mini Star Hop. We're going to be playing this in 48 hours again. Of course, I'm going to be joined by my awesome Patreons, and I am just really kind of excited to be jumping back into this game. Last weekend, you'll have seen this vlog before, but it's not posted yet from like my timeline here. But last weekend I played a different type of 48-hour readathon, and while I did have a good time with it, it was kind of stressful, particularly at the beginning, and I just really wasn't sure what to expect from it. So it's kind of nice to be jumping back into this one because I know what to expect from it. I know kind of what's going to happen. I mean, obviously the game can be mean to me, but it's like, it's a familiar mean, you know? So I'm really looking forward to this weekend. Plus, I really need this weekend because if you've watched my TBR for the month of April, you know it was not nice to me. Again, I have a lot of books on my TBR, and this is the first weekend of April, so I'm really hoping to be able to start off the month strong. May. Why do I keep saying April? It is May. I'm sorry. This is the first weekend of May, so I'm really hoping to start the month off strong, get a lot of reading in this weekend, and I'm hoping that this game will help me to do that. I think it will. I usually read a lot on the weekends where I play this game, and I usually get at least one big book out of the way as well, so here's to hoping that it goes the way it tends to go, and I have a good reading weekend. I get a lot of books read that are on my actual TBR, and yeah, I think overall this is going to be a good time. I have high hopes for it. I think this is going to be really fun. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's jump into the first roll. Okay, here we go with the first roll of the game. I'm honestly not mad whatever we get. Even if we get a black hole, I think I'm good with it. A 1. I mean, I said I was okay with anything, so I have to be okay with anything. At least it's a star prompt. At least it's the easier prompts. We can be happy about that. Let's go ahead. Let's see what star prompt we get. Like I said, stars are the easier prompts. I actually made the spinner wheel for if I hit a black hole. So hopefully that like wards off the black holes for the game. I don't think I mind any of the books on this, or any of the prompts on this list. I think I'd like it. No, actually, any of them could be on it. Any of them could be picked. I'm good with it. Whew, okay. Spin. Okay, 5-star prediction. I'm gonna go grab some options, a stack of options, and I'll be back. Okay, so I only brought 3 books as options, but they're all ones that I'm really excited about. First, I have Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. This one, I just read the little blurb there, and there used to be dragons in this world, and the people pretty much like hunted them and then drove them off to a different, less pleasant land. And now the descendants of those people worship these dragons as if they were gods, but the dragons remember what actually happened and they're not happy about it. And I think they're coming back. So this one is I'm really excited to read it. I really want to get to it. It's kind of shorter. It was a birthday gift from my husband. So I don't know. This one's calling to me a lot. I also have Inkblood Sister Scribe, which again, I am really excited to read. This is a book that has this strong sister bond in it, and it has this library of books that have magic or they are about magic. It's supposedly kind of dark academia vibes. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Plus the author went to school at the same school that I went to, which is kind of cool. And then my other option I would be listening to on audiobook, and that is Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. This is actually my Patreon buddy read of the month. And I am so looking forward to this one because I love T. Kingfisher's writing style. I feel like all of her books are so atmospheric. So this one's really high up on my priorities because I think I'm going to absolutely love it. Plus it's really short, so I think it would give me like a little bit of a boost to move through the game a little faster. So yeah, those are my 3 options. But I think I'm going to go with Dragonfall. This was suggested by one of my patrons that I should read it because the cover is so beautiful, and I agree. I am so drawn into this. I really like the color contrasts on this, and the dragon with the dark background and then the bright moon just kind of looks ominous. And I'm hoping for really awesome dragons, really cool world, maybe some dark vibes. But yeah, this is gonna be my first pick of the evening and I'm really excited for it. I think this is going to be a great start to the readathon. So yeah, we'll jump into this. I'm guessing it'll probably take me like maybe 4-ish, maybe 4 or 5 hours to read it. I don't know, I'm just guessing here. And then I'll jump into my next roll. So it'll probably be around like 10 p.m., maybe 11 if I have dinner in there. And then I'll be jumping into my next roll. Okay, it definitely took me a lot longer to read this book than I expected. I definitely take some blame on that. I did decide after my sprints with my Patreons that I would go down to the gym. I really didn't do too much today because, well, yesterday, because it is now 3:30 in the morning. But yeah, I didn't do too much yesterday. I worked until like 4:30 and then the readathon started at 5. So I kind of just like sat around all day. So I wanted to do something active and then I went to the hot tub afterwards. And granted, I did like listen to the audiobook during part of the time, but I wasn't as focused in reading as consistently as I really should have been. So it's 3:30, but I have now officially finished Dragonfall. And I will say that I did enjoy this book. I found it to be a really interesting and intriguing world and premise. I liked the characters somewhat. I wasn't quite as invested in them as I really was expecting to be. I felt like I was more invested towards the beginning and my investment didn't really grow as much as it should have throughout this story, honestly. I did feel like the way it was written kind of made me think of The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. If you have read that one, you know that one's written in first person, second person, and third person from their perspectives. And that's the way that it's done in this book as well. We have 3 main perspectives. And so we have first, second, third person throughout those perspectives, which I haven't seen done in any book besides The Fifth Season. So that was kind of interesting and a little bit of a different way to go about it. And overall, this was a good time. This is a world where I kind of mentioned what this was like before, but this is a world where the dragons have been kind of banished and the people that are left behind that are generations after the humans that banish them revere these dragons as gods. They don't really know that the humans banished them there. The dragons are really angry and they want to come back and get their vengeance and get their land back because the land that they're in is pretty much dying. And we follow a dragon who is supposedly like the chosen one that's going to usher in this happening. And then also a human who is out to prove that her grandfather did not actually cause this like horrible illness that is now affecting the people. And we also are following this assassin type character who I find very intriguing and interesting. I think she's one of the most interesting parts of this story and I'm really interested to see where we go with her. I do feel like the ending was really good about kind of piquing my interest, making me want to read the next one because we did get a little bit of cliffhangers and reveals at the end to keep us interested, keep us wanting more. So yeah, overall, this was a pretty good book. It was interesting, it was intriguing, but it was unfortunately not a 5-star, which I know I read it for a 5-star prediction, but I did still have a really good time with it. So let's go ahead and jump into the next roll. We're just at space number 1. So we got a long ways to go. Hopefully we can get moving a little bit on this roll. Okay, so 5 would land us on the black hole. Let's see what we get. 4. I feel like other than a 6, that is probably the best thing we could have got. I will definitely take it. Okay, so we got a moon. Moon prompts can be okay. I am really hoping that it's not too terribly mean to me. I'm not super picky on the prompt, I don't think, but let's keep it something a little bit broad so I have a little bit more choice. I think that would be a good way to go with this. Okay, let's turn up the volume. Moon prompts. I don't think there's really any particular prompts that I really don't want. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm just too tired to really know what I want or what I don't want at this point. So let's just go ahead and spin and see what we get. Kindle. Okay, I will see what my options are for this one. It might be much more limited, honestly. We'll see. We'll see what we get. Okay, so honestly, for my choices for Kindle, there were really only two. I'm trying to stick with books that are on my April TBR because I do have so many books on my April TBR that I need to get through. So I'm trying to keep with those. So of the books that are on my April TBR, Kindle options are Manacled, which is a fan fiction. It's a Hermione and Draco romance fan fiction that is set in a world as if, what if Harry died and Voldemort won the war? This is very, very long and not super looking forward to putting that on the list. And then my other option is The Duke and I, which is the first book in the Bridgerton series. And this is much shorter. This is a Regency romance, which I'm assuming will be a pretty quick read for me because I feel like romances tend to be pretty fast reads for me. So I think it kind of goes without saying that I'm going to choose the Bridgerton book because I think that I'll actually be able to finish that one. And I highly doubt I'd be able to finish Manacled. Plus, I would kind of like to not have Manacled in this vlog because I'm trying to kind of give it a little bit more attention because it was my Patreon buddy read and I was going anyways. So yeah. I'm going to be picking The Duke and I, which is the first book in the Bridgerton series. I am really excited to read this. The third Bridgerton TV series, Netflix show series, whatever, is going to be coming out later this month. And I've really enjoyed that show so far, and I'm looking forward to the next season. So I wanted to kind of read the books that happened leading up to the couple that is featured in this upcoming season. So yeah. I will be putting this one on the list. I do not know how much of it I'll read tonight, probably practically none, but I will definitely be finishing it fairly early tomorrow. We still got a ways to go on that board. This could be rough if I end up hitting a black hole, but we'll see. I will update you tomorrow after I have finished my next book. Okay, so I have officially finished The Duke and I, the first book in the Bridgerton series. It is 1:30 in the afternoon, so we definitely are very much into Saturday. And I feel like I enjoyed this book a lot at the beginning. I was really into it. I was enjoying the characters, the banter, the romance. Everything was working for me pretty well towards the beginning of the book. And then there was kind of a little bit of a turning point in it. I'd say maybe like 2/3 of the way through the book. And I was just not on board with it after that. And I've kind of talked with my Patreons about this a little bit, and I feel like part of it is they're trying to portray this as like a really true love story, like this is an ideal relationship and they just are so in love, they love each other so much, and this is like a happily ever after type thing. And I was like, no, that was assault, and that was extreme toxicity, and that was like manipulative behavior on both their parts, and it just felt very uncomfortable, and I was not on board with it from there on. Like I wasn't invested in the relationship. I didn't really care about the romance anymore at that point, and I was just like, no, like I feel extremely uncomfortable with this, and like I'm not on board with how these characters are treating each other. And then you can like hear them justifying it inside their heads. And I was like, I don't like it. I don't know. Like it didn't feel good. And the thing is, it's not that I am completely opposed to reading toxic relationships in books and even necessarily like being invested in these toxic relationships, but when you're trying to act like this is a happily ever after true love story and then justifying some of the things that are happening, I'm like, oh, I don't like that aspect of it, right? Because there are a lot of like dark romances, and there are a lot of like, well, I'll root for the villains sometimes in books, but I don't know. I just wasn't, I wasn't feeling it in this one. The beginning was great though. I was really invested. I was having a really good time with it. I thought it was really fun, which is why I'm still pretty optimistic about the books moving forward in the series, because if their relationships go different ways and it doesn't have that same sort of toxic atmosphere to it, then I think that I would enjoy it a lot more. So that's kind of what I am hoping for. But let's go ahead and jump into the next roll. This is kind of a nerve-wracking roll because this is the only spot on the entire board where there is a possibility to hit either one of the black holes, which means that 2 out of the 6 numbers are dangerous. So I don't know, this one always makes me a little bit nervous, and I feel like we land on this spot all the time. It's a very common spot, just kind of like sucks us in. But yeah, let's go ahead, let's see what we get. Whew, okay, here we go. Obviously we don't want a 1 and we don't want a 6. I feel like we're gonna get a 1 or a 6. I just haven't gotten a black hole in a while, and it just seems like it's gonna happen. It just seems like I have had it too easy for too long. A 4! Oh, I'm so happy. I'm not even mad that it's a sun. I'm not even mad that it's a sun prompt. Woo! Oh, this is such a good roll. I am so pleased. Okay, let's go see what our prompt is. Oh, please don't be a book over 500 pages. Okay, so we got past the first black hole, which I am so excited about, and we didn't hit the second one. So overall, I feel like that went well. But we did get a sun, which... I'm nervous we're gonna get the prompt of a book over 500 pages, and I'm nervous about that because I feel like we always get the prompt of a book over 500 pages. Like, this is a very justified nervousness here because I don't think we've gotten through without having either a book over 500 or a book over 400 pages prompt. Like, it's just a thing at this point. Okay. Other than that, I don't really want a TBR vet, but I think I would be okay with it if we ended up getting that continuation. Higher or lower would be kind of fine. I do enjoy that one. Ugh, okay, let's see what we get. Maybe it'll be a free pick. Maybe we'll get lucky. Oh, I'm not mad about it. It is higher or lower. Okay, so if you are unfamiliar with this game, this is a game that Gavin used to play on his channel, and what you do is you put out 2 books, and one is one you want to read more, one is one that you want to read, but not as much, right? Like, this is one you definitely want. You put out 5 cards in between it, and then you have to guess whether the next card is going to be higher or lower, and if you can guess all the way through, you win and get to read the book you want to read. And if you can't, you lose and have to read the other book. So we'll get this set up and I'll go pick out the books that I'm gonna put. This is gonna be fun. I'm really excited for this. Okay, so after some deliberation, I decided I was gonna be maybe a little mean to myself. We'll see how it turns out. But the book that's gonna be on the winning side is The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is the second book in the Bridgerton series, the sequel to the book that I just read. So I will put it over here on the winner side. And then the book that I do want to read but really don't want to get picked right now is going to be Wrath by John Gwynne. This absolutely massive book. So, I feel like the stakes got pretty high here. I am really hoping that the cards are nice to me. And I did discuss this with my Patreons, and we decided that I am going to go ahead and let myself have a life. Meaning, like, I can, if I miss once, it's not over. I can keep going. I just can't miss twice. Like, I can use my life if I do miss. I think Gavin had done that in his game. And also, of course, aces are both high and low. So if I get an ace, I automatically win that one, which is kind of exciting. But yeah, I lose this game every time, and I've lost it on the first one like multiple times. So I feel that giving myself a little bit of this might make it more interesting to everyone involved. So, okay, let's set them out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oop. Gotta push them a little bit closer to each other. 5. Oh, I'm nervous about this, honestly. I never win this game. Okay, let's see how it goes. We ready? A 10. Okay, that is pretty high. I feel like I can't, like, I shouldn't say anything other than lower. on this one. I feel like I have to say lower. Like it wouldn't make sense to say anything else. So I don't know why I am so nervous to like kind of bite the bullet and say lower, but I'm saying lower. If I have to use my life on this first one, I'm going to be so irritated, but we're going lower. It's official. And our card is a king. Are you kidding me right now? Okay, well, there goes my life. I have used my life on the very first one, but I am 100% confident on this next one. So I guess it kind of is okay-ish, but okay, next one has to be lower. We can move on. It's definitely lower. And it's a 5. I feel like higher, obviously higher. Yes, KJ, higher. I have to go higher on this, but I am so nervous right now because with my 10, that's like pretty much in the same spot, right? We're very similar to what we were with the 10 and we lost. So, okay, I'm saying higher. It's going to be higher. I know I'm not going to change it, so I don't know why I'm like delaying, but okay, we're going higher. Jack. Oh, okay. I don't know why. I just almost had a heart attack right there when that Jack flipped over, but yes. I mean, lower. Obviously lower, right? Why am I so nervous to say lower? There are only 2 cards higher than this one, and yet something inside of me is saying it's going to be a queen or a king. I just know it. Okay, we're going lower. Here's the flip. And Patreons are cheering me on. I can't make myself do it. Okay. Here we go. We're flipping it. Lower. Sending good vibes into this card. It's going to be lower. It's going to be lower. It's going to be a queen. No. How did this just happen? How do I lose this game every time? No. Oh my gosh. This is a mean game. Okay. Well, it's official. I'm reading Wrath. Wrath is going on to the list, and this is the next book in this readathon. Wow, I really hope I don't hit that black hole. Okay, it is now about 4 in the morning, which is better than I expected. My Patreons and I kind of chatted about it, and I feel like the general consensus was about 5 a.m. was when I was going to finish it, so I'm a little bit early, but I have finished Wrath by John Gwynne. This was a really great conclusion. I had a really good time with this book. I felt like it was really engaging and I was very invested in what was going on. I will admit that there are some POVs that I don't like as much. And so it got kind of boring following those POVs in particular, but overall, I really, really like the story. I think that John Gwynne does a really good job of making the stakes high and making you actually feel like there is a risk that these characters are taking. I really like his writing style. I really liked his character development in these ones and just kind of pulling things together, tying them together. I like that there were still some open-ended things at the end of this, which I know that there is another series that's set several hundred years after this series. And so I'm interested in reading that one, but I do think I'm going to give it a little bit of time because one of the things I love so much about this one was the characters. And if we are that far down the road, then we're going to have to kind of get to know a bunch of different characters. And I really can't talk about this book too much, honestly, because it is the conclusion to a series, but I loved this series and I really, really loved this book. I think it was so well done. I did cry a little bit and I was just very invested, and I'm so glad that I finally read this because I knew I was going to love it. I knew that it was going to be like emotionally damaging to me, and it was. It was pretty much everything that I wanted and needed out of this book, and it was a great conclusion to the series in my opinion. So one more book down, and we're gonna go ahead and jump into the next roll. At this point, if I do hit the black hole, I do not think there is any way in the world that I'm going to be able to finish the game. So fingers crossed we at least get past it. Even if we have several more rolls after this, if we can get past it, I will feel really, really good about my chances of winning. Okay, so clearly we don't want a 2, but honestly, I kind of want something bigger than a 2. I don't want to go back to the beginning, but I want to be confident that we're past that black hole. A 4, I will take it. Is this the third 4? I think this is the third 4 of the game. Crazy. Anyways, let's go see what prompt we get. We at least get a star prompt. Those ones are the easiest ones. Okay, so I realized that I did not press record when I did my spinner wheel because it's 4 in the morning and I'm just not functioning at this point, but I got a prompt that I want, so I'm not going to do it again so that I can record it. So I'm just gonna put up the video that I already, I did screen record. At least I remembered that much. So we are going to put it over here, click, 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 however long it takes to get there. And our prompt is free pick. And now y'all know why I did not want to repeat it, because that is the best prompt that I could have gotten. And I am not going to sacrifice that just because it's 4 in the morning and I'm dumb right now. So I get a free pick. I'm really, really excited about this. And I'm going to go get some options of books that I could read. Okay, I am back. I actually only grabbed 3 options of books because I'm trying to kind of stick with books that are on my May TBR so I can kind of knock some of those books out on this. I actually feel like I woke up a little bit just kind of getting up and walking to go get books, which hopefully that's a good thing. But the first one that I grabbed is The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is the second book in the Bridgerton series. I read the first book earlier during this readathon, and these are pretty fast reads. I mean, they're a little bit longer than some romances, but they're easy to get through. They don't take a ton of brain power, and this one is also on my monthly TBR, so that'd be awesome to read that. I also picked up Inkblood Sister Scribe because I just feel like this is one that I'm going to really enjoy. I think it'd be so much fun. It's not too long. It's probably longer than the Bridgerton book, but I just think that this one's probably going to go pretty quickly because I'll enjoy my time reading it. And the other option I have is Thornhedge, which is a novella, so it will definitely be a fast read. I'd be able to get done with it pretty quickly, and it probably would be a safe one to pick because there is a chance that I still have 2 more books after this one if I do happen to roll a 1 on the next one. So that would put me in a more safe place. I don't know. What do I want to choose? That's kind of hard. Because what if I do land on a moon next time and it makes me choose a book that's a little bit more difficult? I don't know. Oh, that's so hard. What do I think I'm going to do? What is probably best? You know what? I think I'm actually going to go with the next book in the Bridgerton series. I'm going to go with The Viscount Who Loved Me. I feel like this is one I feel very confident that I'm going to be able to get through fairly quickly. And then if I need to put something like a novella on for my free pick at the end, I can still do that. So this is the one that I'm going to be choosing. I do not know how much I'm going to read this evening before bed, but I'll try to get at least some done. I highly doubt I'm going to finish it though, because if I did, I wouldn't be getting to bed till like 7 in the morning. 8 in the morning, I think. And that just seems a little excessive. So I probably am just going to not sleep as much and then wake up a little bit earlier tomorrow in order to get some more reading in. Whew. Okay, this is actually going to make it a little challenging, I think, depending on how I want to finish this out. But I think it's going to be good. I'm really excited. This is going to be a good one. I have high hopes for this book. Okay, it is now 11 a.m. on Sunday, and I have officially finished The Viscount Who Loved Me, the second book in the Bridgerton series. and I quite enjoyed this book, but I am gonna say I am thinking maybe Regency romances might not be for me if they are spicy, because I find it not to my taste, and not really very enjoyable in these books, at least the first two. I'm not gonna go into too much detail on that. I'm gonna do a vlog of the reading the Bridgerton books, so I'll give a little bit more thought in there. I think that I liked the dynamic between the characters more in this one. I liked our female main character. She was really funny and witty, and I just really enjoyed her personality a lot. And honestly, I liked our male main character. We're following Anthony in this one. I liked him quite a bit in this book. I feel like there was some kind of like miscommunication stuff that goes on in here, but in all reality, I don't know if it's necessarily a product of like the writing in the books or of the time, because back then I don't think there was as open communication, obviously, as there is now. So that might be, again, something that I don't necessarily enjoy in more Regency romance books. I haven't read that many, but yeah, I found some of the stuff just to be a little kind of frustrating, but overall I quite enjoyed this book. I thought it was a lot of fun. I was invested for the most part, and it was just like, it was an easy, good time. And I'm really glad that I have gotten to this far. Also, look at this cover. Isn't it so pretty? I love these covers. I think they're Illumicrate. They're just, I should look so I can, yeah, they are Illumicrate. So I can like officially tell you, but yes. Another one down. Let's jump into what could potentially be our last roll. It could be our last, or we could have one more after this. Hopefully it's our last, honestly, because it's now 11 o'clock in the morning and I'm just kind of not feeling having to squeeze two more on here at this point. I'd like to just be at the end. Okay, here we go into the last roll. Literally anything but a 1, and we are going to be completely done. 3, perfect. Woohoo! Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, and this final spot is a free pick, so I can choose whatever book I want. Okay, we've made it to the end. We are picking our 5th and final book here, and I'm happy about that because at this point, I don't really want to add 2 more books on. I think I kind of let it go a little late. So I have some options. And the first one is An Offer from a Gentleman. This is the 3rd book in the Bridgerton series. So I would just be like kind of continuing this reading of the Bridgerton books. If I were to continue this one, I believe this one is Benedict's story. And I also grabbed Inkblood Sister Scribe. I am so excited for this book. I think that the vibes are going to be something that I really enjoy, and it just sounds like something that I would really love. And then also, of course, Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. This is the novella that is my Patreon buddy read for the month of May. So this one would also be a good option. I've talked about all of them before, so I don't need to chat about them too much. It would be, you know, the thing is, it would be awesome to choose a novella because I know that I would finish it in time, but I think I'm actually going to not, because this might be one of the first games, if not the first, where I pick all like actual full-length novels for the game. And I think that'd be kind of cool. So I'm going to get out Thornhedge. And so I am now between An Offer from a Gentleman and Inkblood Sister Scribe. Ooh, this is really hard actually, because I think this one would be easier, and I'm kind of feeling the Bridgerton stuff right now, but this one just is kind of calling to me. I feel like I would love it. But the thing is, I think, oh, what time is it? Yeah, timing wise, I really think this one would be pushing it so much, and I am going to be doing sprints with my patrons for the last 4 hours of the readathon, and so I will be chatting during them, and I won't be reading consistently. And so since I only have 6 hours left, and I feel like this one would probably take me somewhere around 5 hours to read, that might just be pushing it a little much. And I want to win. I don't want to get to this point and then go over by like half an hour or something. So I think I'm actually not going to go with this one. And I'm going to do another Bridgerton. This is just like the readathon of the Bridgerton books, apparently. This is going to be the last choice. I really like this cover too. I think the yellow with this mask is so pretty. I am just you know what, this will be good. I'm feeling the like easy read romance books right now because my brain is not really functioning that much because I haven't had adequate sleep, but this is it. We're gonna go with An Offer from a Gentleman as the final book on this readathon, and I'm gonna have read 5 actual full-length novels for this readathon, which is really awesome. It feels really good. Okay, so I have officially finished An Offer from a Gentleman. There is still an hour left of the readathon, but I have finished my final book, and so I have won. And again, I really enjoyed particularly the beginning of this book. I feel that this series does a good job of kind of setting you up and getting you invested into these characters at the beginning of the books, and then it kind of becomes a bit of a mess. And honestly, I'm just not as big of a fan of the mess, I think. Again, in this book as well, I'm not a huge fan of the spicy scenes, but that is just kind of personal preference for me. I did like the female main character. Again, I thought she was fun and she was smart and she was witty, but I do kind of feel like the female main characters and the male main characters are like kind of very similar. I will say that Benedict as a main character is probably more different than the first two of Simon and Antony, but I do kind of feel like the female main characters in these books are all very, very similar types of people. That's just kind of like the vibe from them. I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it, and another Bridgerton down. So here is my stack of books that I read this weekend. I am really excited about this stack, actually. I feel like this is a pretty good accomplishment, and I'm very happy with it. So we had Dragonfall for a 5-star prediction. We had Wrath because I lost higher or lower. We had The Duke and I. Oh, it was for a Kindle book. Yes, Duke and I was for a Kindle. Then we had The Viscount Who Loved Me for a free pick. And then we had An Offer from a Gentleman for the final spot free pick. And yeah, I really like this stack. This was a lot of pages. Maybe I'll add up how many pages I read this weekend between all of them, but I feel really accomplished. This was a lot of fun, and I don't know, I just felt really good about my reading this weekend. And we had some really fun chats on the sprints, and just overall, this was a really good time. This is definitely a much better start to my reading than I had last month, and I'm actually feeling, dare I say, confident that I will be able to finish this month's TBR. I don't know, that's maybe pushing it a little far. I have a long way to go, and there are definitely some long books that are still on there, but I don't know. I'm feeling fairly confident that I'll be able to finish the books on the list because I just read 5 in 48 hours. These aren't even the shortest books on there. Actually, well, the Bridgertons are probably the shortest besides the novella. But still, they're still books. They're like full-length novels in and of themselves. So yeah, this is a really fun weekend, and I was really glad that I decided to do it this first weekend of the month. It started out really well, and I think it's gonna like make the rest of my reading for the rest of the month really good. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you had fun with this. I definitely did, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.